It's the Aubrey Show with our special guest star, Dolores, and how you should be foreshadowing. It's a lengthy fucking. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Aubrey Show, the only show where the happier I get, the less interesting the episodes become. um, although, am I happy? That's a good question. Ooh, changing of episode topics? Do I want to talk about how fucking sad I am? No, no, I don't. But I'll record that for later. um, um, why I have no friends. Wonderful. So we'll talk about that at some point. Um, daily journal. Today was not very busy. You know, I watched The Mandalorian basically up to the most recent episode. I'm technically 15 minutes away from the ending. I got interrupted, so fuck it. Um, you know, and otherwise I just hung around. I watched At World's End. That's a great Edgar Wright movie. You should watch it if you I don't know if you're gonna want to. Edgar Wright is such an interesting filmmaker in that his films are entirely optional. They are not required for the full life experience, but they are fun. Um, and that basically just about sums up the day. So I'll just move on to the actual episode topic. The reason you guys are all here, it's a writing episode, so you guys might learn something. Okay, so when you think Encanto, what do you think of? Think probably of, we didn't talk about Bruno song. Everybody fucking love that. I love that. It's an objectively well-made song. Um, and when we look at that song, we often, separate into two really standout verses. I've seen, Camilo's is very well praised for its syncopation, and Dolores, people just seem to quite like. And that's for a lot of music reasons that I can't get into because I have no fucking clue how music works. Um, but I want to talk about the actual lyrical aspect of that because it is very interesting in how it implements foreshadowing. Um, I'm actually just going to pull it up real quick. It would be pretty funny if it just came in. Okay. Anyways, so here you can see, hey, grew to live in fear of Bruno's stuttering or stumbling. I can always hear him sort of muttering and mumbling. I associate him with the sound of falling stand. So, um, there's one important part of this verse to me. It's just this one. It's all this one. It's all about this one. So, what's interesting about that specific line is that it's one line, and my brain, at least on the first watch through, skipped over it. Didn't seem too important. It's just one line of a relatively fast and quiet verse. Um, but as we know after watching the film, the reason that she heard him muttering and mumbling was because he was in the walls of their house and she had super hearing. Um, and it's pretty funny to go back to the song then because that is a very obvious kind of establishment of what's to come. Like, if you had heard that song in real life, just verse by verse, you probably would have been like, you hear him what? you know um and you could have assumed that it was like some sort of like dream thing. She's talking about emotionally she still hears him around, but the verse literally will say to you that thing, but it gets skipped over because it's just one verse of many. And that's how I would like to introduce um, the ideal art of foreshadowing to you guys. So when it comes to foreshadowing for stories, it tends to either be a huge problem to take care of or not a problem at all. It either comes naturally or it doesn't come at all. And what I want to help with is the times when it doesn't come at all, of course, because when it comes naturally, duh. How do you force foreshadowing into your script and have it turn out well? And I'd like to preface this with, you know, I'm a big believer in maybe not always including foreshadowing. I don't think it's always necessary. But if you feel as though your script needs it, then this is how I'd implement it, um, to make it seem more natural and, more importantly, more good. So the thing that you want to avoid with foreshadowing is spelling out something too obviously or not spelling something out at all. You need to hit a line in between those two where you're saying something, but you're not saying it in a way that the audience will, be unable to, they'll start seeing the twist coming or whatever. So how do you do that? Well, in the example used, what you have to do is simply sneak in a phrase that can be used for. Fuck, this episode is going shit. Um, I'm sorry. I don't think I actually have anything really useful to say about this. Just pay attention to how fucking cool that is, that moment. Like, they obviously put a lot of work into that moment of foreshadowing. And it's well done. Um, Jesus. I'm sorry. I do feel a little bit bad. What have I doing this for? Fuck. Don't watch this one. I'm sorry. And lo, she sits in a new yet altogether stale limbo, purgatory, a decision to be made. Happy, but at an interesting cost, not one that she had foreseen. Or was it a cost at all, or was it just a byproduct? Was it not a product at all? Was it a random happenstance? Who could know? Who could know? Who could know? Could live in fear, Brito stumbling or stumbling, bit of muttering and mumbling. I associate him with the sound of falling sand. I missed that.